So for this lesson, if you've got a mat, then use a mat. You can see mine behind me. If you haven't, we're going to do some stuff where your knees will be coming down onto the floor. So you might either want to be on carpet, or if you've got wood floors, perhaps fold up a blanket and have it so it can go underneath your knees. I'm going to be using a yoga strap. You don't need an actual yoga strap. You could use like a dressing gown belt or a normal clothing belt or a tie, something like that. And I am also going to be using, you can see them behind me, those blue things, yoga blocks. They're kind of shaped like bricks, and they're just to help me get my hands down towards the floor. So things that you could use if you haven't got yoga blocks are, I've realized that an upside down NutriBullet cup actually works pretty well. It's kind of the same height and it's pretty sturdy when you lean on it. Or maybe if you've got like a can or two in your kitchen cupboard, those would work well. And perhaps maybe like a solid water bottle, so one of the refillable ones, that would also do the job. Something that you can kind of lean on and it will be fairly steady and it's not going to break. And once you've got all that stuff, go and lie down on your mat or just on your chosen spot on the floor. And you don't need any of your equipment to start with, but just lie down on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. See if you can rest your elbows on the floor, but put your hands on your lower belly. So kind of over belly button or a little bit lower. And then first of all, just notice that you might be able to feel yourself breathing underneath your hands. And notice whether your breathing feels fast, if it feels slow, if it feels deep or shallow. And maybe slightly more subtle, so it might be harder to spot. Do your inhales and exhales feel about the same length, or does one feel a bit longer? So if you felt that your inhales and exhales were about the same length, then just keep breathing how you are. If it felt like one was a bit shorter than the other, see if you can slightly lengthen the shorter part of your breath. So inhale and exhale are about the same length and depth. And then once both sides of your breath feel about the same, now just make each of them very slightly longer. So perhaps next time you inhale, breathe in for a second longer than you normally would. And then as you exhale, breathe out for a second longer to match. So as we start to put your body in different shapes, you will probably find that there'll be points in the class where you've forgotten to pay attention to your breathing. That might happen for quite a lot of the class. That's fine. Just notice your breathing now. We'll finish the class lying on the floor, so we'll come back to it then. And if there are any points in between when you can notice yourself breathing, then great. Remember that your breath is kind of a guide about whether you're working too hard. So if at any point, anything that we're doing feels so difficult or it's bringing up sensations in your body that are so strong, you aren't able to breathe slowly and steadily like this when you think about it, that's an indication that you just want to dial it down a bit. So stop trying so hard. Okay, and then you can keep your hands on your belly or take your arms by your side if you prefer. Cross the outside of your right ankle over your left thigh. So if you were to lift your head and look at your legs, you would see like a triangle of daylight being made by your legs. And look at your top knee, your right knee, and see if you can turn that right knee, turn your leg further out. By that, I mean, move your right knee a bit further away from your face. If that was at all confusing, you can have a look at the screen You don't need to use your hands. I'm just pointing so you see which one I mean. Try and send that leg further away from you. So my leg moves quite a lot. Yours might move more or less than that. That's fine. And then once your legs stop moving, if you feel a stretch or sensation in your right hip, you can stay where you are. If you're like, I'm not quite sure if I'm getting it yet, keep your right leg doing what it's doing, but pick your left foot up off the floor. And see if you can maybe do this without using your hands to help. So sometimes you might have been to perhaps a gym class where they'll do this shape at the end to stretch out your bum, and they'll ask you to hold onto your left leg and pull it in. For today, it's not that doing that is wrong, but just today we're going to try and do it without using your hands. So when you don't use your hands, as well as being a stretch for right side of bum, is also strengthening for the stuff in the front of your left hip. So front of left hip and left thigh are doing the lifting here. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, bring your bottom foot down, bring your top foot down. Let's switch sides. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. So make sure rather than like the little toe edge of your foot, more kind of the knobbly bit of your ankle is touching your thigh. And then see if you can send your left knee a bit further away from your face. So in my body, this one doesn't move so far. And then either keep your bottom foot on the floor or pick your bottom foot up and just bring your legs in towards you just until they stop. So you're not trying to get them to a certain place. What I want you to try and feel is a bit of a stretch, perhaps in left side of your bum. You might feel it in left inner thigh as well. You might also feel the front of your right thigh and right hip working a bit. Remember that whenever I say you might feel this and you might feel that, if you're like, I don't feel it, that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. Just different bodies, different people feel different stuff in different ways. Okay, take a breath in here. As you breathe out, bring your bottom foot down, bring your top foot down, roll to one side, and then come to hands and knees. Okay, keep your hips over your knees, but walk both your hands forwards a step. In a minute, I'm going to ask you to take your chest down and back towards the floor. One, it doesn't need to meet the floor. But two, what your body might want to do is create a big inward curve in your lower back like this. So before we move, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, think about drawing your lower ribs up in towards your spine. See how when I do that, it slightly flattens my back. Keep that. Now take your chest down and back towards the floor. So it's almost like we're sitting back to child's pose, but you see how my bum isn't anywhere near my heels. So if this starts to get a bit pinchy in your shoulders, you can try not going so far. Or another alternative, you could bring your elbows onto the floor and interlink your fingers. If arms out straight feels good, then you can stay where you are. So next time you inhale, see if you can wriggle your fingertips perhaps a millimeter further away from you, like you're trying to lengthen your arms. As you exhale, draw lower ribs up in towards your spine again. Great. And then on an inhale, shift up to hands and knees. Walk both your knees back a little step this time. Tuck your toes under, so we're prepping for downward dog. Sit your bum back towards your heels. Try and keep this much weight back over your legs. Now just start to extend your legs and lift your hips. And remember when we looked at downward dog in detail, don't think about trying to drop your heels down and straighten your legs, because for lots of people, including myself, that would make my spine arch towards the floor like this. Instead of doing this shape, think about lifting your heels a bit, bending your knees, and then push the floor away with your arms and try and stick your tailbone up in the air. Like you're a triangle shape with the floor as the base and your body as the sides, and you're trying to make a sharper point on the triangle. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, step your right foot forwards between your hands, drop your back knee down onto the floor. So remember, if you had trouble stepping your foot forwards, what your options were. It was to come onto hands and knees first, or if your foot didn't quite get there, you can grab it and bring it forwards and then prop your hands on your front thigh. Great. So if this is a bit much for your back knee being on the floor, you could always grab like a blanket or a cushion and just put it underneath there, or even put it underneath your mat. So you've still got the grippy surface, but a bit more padding underneath. Okay. And then just feel what you can feel in your legs, in your hips by making this shape. So you might think the answer is nothing. That's fine. Let's try and get a little bit more stretch in the front of your left hip. So this is one of the main reasons we do lunges so much, to lengthen out front of hip and front of thigh, which they're always shortened if you're sitting a lot. And those of you that cycle, cyclists kind of build this stuff up a lot, runners, walkers, etc. If you climb lots of stairs. So feel if you can feel anything in the front of your left hip. And then straighten your front leg a bit. So it doesn't have to go all the way, just a bit. Foot stayed where it was. Draw your lower belly in like you're trying to do up a pair of jeans that are a bit tight, like they just come out the wash. Keep that. Now re-bend your front knee. That might have brought up a stretch in your hip. If you're still a bit like, no, I'm not quite sure, then try pressing your back foot straight down into the floor. Okay, and then reach your arms up to the ceiling. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, hands down by your front foot, step back, downward facing dog. So you can go straight back to downward dog. If you prefer to go via hands and knees, that works. Staying in downward dog, next time you inhale, bend your right knee a bit and press your left heel down towards the floor. So right knee bent, left leg straight or just straighter, press your heel, left heel down and back. So you're looking for a bit of a stretch in the lower part of your left leg. Inhale, just normal downward dog, so both legs about even. Exhale, bend your left knee and press your right heel down towards the floor. So for some of you, this is going to make you want to shift forwards to plank. Keep sending your hips up and back as you do this. Then as you inhale, make both legs even again. Exhale, step your left foot forwards between your hands, drop back, knee down. Yeah, so you can have, I prefer to have my back toes untucked, but it's just personal preference. If that's uncomfortable on your foot, you're welcome to have your toes tucked under like this. Either way, bring yourself upright. Okay, and then again, notice if you feel anything in like legs, hips. If it's bothering your knee, then get some padding. And if when I'm saying to you, notice if you feel, and you're just thinking, I don't feel any of this, don't worry, like that's what you're doing this course for. All of this stuff, I couldn't really feel it until I trained myself to be able to feel it, and to be a bit more sensitive about the stuff that was going on in my body. So rather than just like giving into gravity and kind of sinking forwards and down, I want us to do it like this. Straighten your front leg a bit, draw your belly button in, keep that, rebend your front knee. Yes, you might feel that you can't go quite as far unless you let your stomach muscles go. That's good. Then option, also press your back foot down. If when you press your back foot down, you're like, this is too much, then stop pressing it. If it feels good, go for it. Keep your lower body doing what it's doing. Inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Yeah, let's hold for a couple of breaths on this side. So as you inhale, think lift your chest and reach up through fingertips. As you exhale, draw your belly in and press your back foot down. One more breath in where you are. Exhale, hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Okay, perfect. So last time we were here, we were alternating bending one knee and then the other. This time we're going to add a little twist for your hips in. So if you get confused, remember you can always like pause the video, come to the screen and watch it, and then rewind and come and do it with me. Okay, so bend your right knee and press your left heel down to the floor. So your left leg's going to stay straight and your right knee's going to stay bent. Now turn your left toes out about 45 degrees. This, you might be able to now drop your left heel down closer to the floor or actually to the floor. Keep sending your hips up and back. Turn your belly and your chest to the left. Like some of you will look over your left arm. Some of you will look under your left arm towards the left side of your room. Think about sending outer left hip up and back. Then on an inhale, come back to center. So both legs even. Same thing, second side. Exhale, bend your left knee, press right heel down. Pivot your right toes out a bit and right heel in. So your right heel gets closer to or actually to the floor. Keep sending hips up and back. Turn your belly and your chest to the right side of the room. Inhale, come back to center, normal downward dog. Exhale, walk your feet forwards to your hands, standing forward fold at the front of your mat. Take hold of your elbows and just dangle here. And same as we were doing in downward dog, you might want to alternate bending one knee and then the other. Maybe that makes your upper body sway side to side a bit. If you preferred being still, you can stay still. If you're like, when I fall forwards, it doesn't look like she does. That's because we've got different bodies. That doesn't mean like either one of us is doing it right or wrong. So if you're more up here, then fine. Okay, now if you're holding your elbows, let go of them, arms just dangle. Your fingertips might touch the floor, they might not. Great, either way. Then start to slide your fingers up your shin. So we're going to lift halfway up. Remember, we looked at this before. Pull your chest forwards, stick your bum out behind you. Keep lifting up until you think you can feel a bit of inward curve in your lower back. If you know your hamstrings are a bit tighter, then keep your knees a bit bent. Stick your bum out behind you. So you'll probably have chest slightly higher than hips. Then to work your upper back as well, let's reach arms back alongside you. Palms face the floor. Shrug your shoulder blades down your back away from your ears and squeeze your shoulders towards each other. Inhale where you are. Exhale, relax, fold forwards. One more time, a bit faster. Inhale, lift halfway up. So pull your chest forward, stick your bum out, shoulder blades away from ears. Exhale, fold down to your legs again. On an inhale, come all the way up to stand. Reach your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, palms together, thumbs to chest. So when we come up to stand, you can choose whether you want to reach your arms out and up. I'm reaching mine forwards and up just because I'm next to a wall. Okay, let's start to move a little bit faster. Remember, rest whenever you like. Inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, fold down towards your legs. Bend your knees if that feels nicer. Inhale, lift halfway up. Pull your chest forwards. Exhale, fold down to your legs again. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Reach your arms overhead. Exhale, palms together, thumbs to chest. Two more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward, slight bend in knees. Inhale, lift halfway. You can keep your knees a bit bent. Exhale, fold down towards your legs again. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach your arms overhead. Exhale, hands in prayer. One more time. Inhale, reach up. So we're just setting the pace. Exhale, fold forwards. This is how fast we're going to keep moving. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Reach as tall as you can. Exhale, hands in prayer. So same pace. Inhale, reach up. Let's add some lunges in. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fingertips either sides of feet. Bend your knees if you need. Step right foot back. Drop that knee to the floor. Next time you inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, hands down either side of front foot. Step back, plank. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, drop your knees, lower down to the floor. Reach your arms back alongside you. Inhale, locust pose. So lift your arms, your legs, your chest. Exhale, hands under shoulders, downward facing dog. So send your hips up and back. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, step your right foot forwards, drop back knee to the floor. Inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, fingertips down, step forwards and fold at the front of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, hands in prayer, thumbs to chest. Other side, inhale, reach to the ceiling. Exhale, fold down towards your legs. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fingertips down, left foot back, left knee to the floor. Inhale, reach your arms to the ceiling. Exhale, hands down, step back, plank. Inhale, plank, draw your belly in. Keep it drawn in. As you exhale, drop your knees, lower to the floor. Reach your arms back alongside you. Inhale, locust pose, lift everything up. Exhale, hands under shoulders, downward facing dog. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, step your left foot forwards, drop your back knee to the floor. Inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, hands down, step forwards and fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, hands in prayer. Another round. Remember, press pause if you need to. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fingers down, right foot back, right knee to the floor. Inhale, reach your arms up and press your back foot down this time. Yes, exhale, hands down, step back, plank. Inhale here, belly button draws in. Exhale, drop your knees, squeeze your elbows in as you lower down. This time, keep your hands just where they are, untuck your toes. Inhale, cobra pose, so hands pull back, chest pulls forwards. Exhale, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back. Exhale, step that foot forwards, back knee to the floor. Inhale, reach to the ceiling. Exhale, hands down, step forwards, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up, reach your arms up. Exhale, hands in prayer. Last side, breath in, reach up. Breath out, fold forwards. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fingers down, left foot back, left knee down. Inhale, reach your arms up and press your back foot down. Exhale, hands down by your front foot, plank. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower to the floor. Reach your arms back. Sorry, hands stay where they are. Inhale, cobra pose. Just testing. Exhale, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back behind you. Exhale, step your foot forwards, back knee to the floor. Inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, fingertips down, step forwards and fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, palms together, thumbs to chest. Really nice. Inhale, reach up. Let's move on. Exhale, fold forwards, but we'll keep the pace the same. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, hands down, downward facing dog. Pause there and see if you can take 3 or 4 breaths just on your own without me telling you when to inhale and exhale. And see if you can keep them slow and steady, so about the pace we were just moving at. Okay, and then remember in the videos you've already looked at, I said you've got choices. You can take options, you can rest whenever you need. So when we come to downward dog, this position in this moving part of the class, you've got 3 options. 1, you can just stay here and breathe. If you're going to do that, I want you to think about sticking your bum up in the air. Or if you need a break, you can bring your knees down, maybe sit back on your heels, take a child's pose if that's comfy. If not, hands and knees, you might want to grab a drink of water. Alternatively, if you're like, no, I kind of want to keep moving's feeling good, then on an inhale, shift forwards to plank. Exhale, lower down to the floor. From here, you can choose locust or cobra. So locust, both arms and legs lift. That's a bit more strengthening for your back. Cobra, hands and feet down, chest pulls forwards. That's a bit more stretchy for front. And then on an exhale, downward facing dog. So you're going to get those 3 choices over and over again. There isn't one that's better. You just choose the one you prefer. Okay, inhale, lift your right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, step that foot forwards between your hands. Lunge. This time your back knee can be up like this or down on the floor. Either way, as you inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. So on this side, I'm going to demo knee on the floor. On the next side, I'm going to demo knee up. They're both as good as each other. And then remember how we set up that lunge at the beginning of class. Feel what you feel in your legs and hips. Straighten your front leg a little bit. Draw your belly button in. Rebend your front knee. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, reach your left arm forwards and your right arm back so your chest turns to the right side of the room. Inhale, reach your left fingertips past your front foot. Exhale, put your fingertips down onto the floor, or you might want to grab your block or your support, put it on the inside of front foot, reach your other arm up to the ceiling. So we're in a twist. Think about trying to shrug both your shoulders down your back away from your ears. Yeah, take one more breath in here. As you breathe out, hands down to the floor, step back, downward facing dog. And then again, stay where you are, or bring your knees down, take a rest, or nice and slow, you can go plank, lower down, locust or cobra, downward facing dog. What I want you to think about if you're going through that little sequence is keeping it slow and steady. So especially the lowering down bit and the lifting into a back bend bit, it takes way less strength to do that fast. So make sure it takes a whole slow exhale for you to lower down to the floor. Okay, same twist, second side. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back behind you. Exhale, step that foot forwards between your hands, back knee up or down. So this time I'm going to demo knee up. Inhale, bring yourself up, reach arms to the ceiling. So whether back knee's up or down, same thing, straighten front leg just a touch, draw belly in, come back in. Perfect, take a breath in. Exhale, reach your right arm forwards and left arm back, so chest turns towards left side of room. Inhale, reach to your right fingertips. Exhale, put that hand down onto floor or support. If you're on the floor, let's be on fingertips, not palm. Reach your other arm up to the ceiling, so you're showing your top palm towards the left side of your room. Same thing, rather than scrunching your shoulders around your ears, can you shrug shoulders down your back? And imagine you're trying to reach through the crown of your head. Take a breath in. Exhale, hands down, downward facing dog. Hold here, or come down and rest, or go plank, back bend, down dog. I am going to come down and rest. Okay. And then let's do one more twist in a lunge. This one, slightly deeper twist. So when you're ready to move again, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back behind you. Keep it lifted. As you exhale, open up your hips. So by that, I mean top leg stay straight, but just start to turn your belly button and your top toes to point towards the right side of the room. And think about almost trying to stack your right hip on top of your left. Inhale, lift that leg a bit higher. Yeah. Exhale, step your foot forwards, lunge, back knee up or down. So again, I'm going to demo both. Back knee down this time for me. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then just on your own, see if you can remember that little adjustment that we've done each time. So front knee, belly button, all that stuff. Yes, so I'm showing you back knee down on one side and back knee up on the other side. But for you, I'd prefer you did the same on each leg, whichever one you choose. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, bring palms together and thumbs to chest this time. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, turn your upper body to the right. Like you're trying to show your thumbs, the center of your chest, to the right side of your room. And then we've got two options here. So either lean a little bit forwards and across and hook your left elbow on the outside of your knee, or if your elbow doesn't go past your knee, hand on that knee, left hand, and other hand on your hip. Either way. So whether you've got hand on knee or elbow to knee, press your arm against your leg to help you turn, but also press your knee out against your arm. Then next time you inhale, release that, hands down. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold there, or come down and rest, or go plank, back bend, down dog, your choice. So in this kind of class, you can choose to rest pretty much like every 2 minutes if you want, or you can choose to keep moving the whole time. Neither one of those is like better or more advanced. It's just literally two different options to choose from. Most people will probably land somewhere in the middle. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back. Keep it lifted as you exhale. Just open up your hip. So turn your belly button, your top toes, your top knee to point to the left. See if you can lift that leg any higher. Take a breath in here. Exhale, step your foot forwards, lunge, back knee up or down, whatever you did on the last side. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale, bring palms together, thumbs to chest. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, turn upper body to the left. And then either hook your right elbow on the outside of your knee, or put your hand on that knee and your left hand in your left hip. Like whether your elbow hooks around has got a lot to do with your proportion. So the way your body is made, it's not whether you're like good or bad at yoga. So choose whichever one works for you. So I did hand on the last side. So just to show you the difference, I'm going to do elbow on this side. So I'm pressing with my elbow to help me turn. Oops, and almost falling over. But I want you to also press out with your knees. So if your back knee's up and this is super wobbly, you can just drop your back knee down. Take a breath in where you are. As you breathe out, both hands down, downward facing dog. Hold here, or come down and rest, or go plank, lower down, back bend, downward facing dog. Okay. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back. Exhale, step that foot forwards between your hands, warrior two. So back toes turn out about 90 degrees. Inhale, come up. Let's just put hands on your hips. So look down at your back foot. You either want the little toe edge of your foot pretty much in line with the short edge of mat, or toes just very slightly turned in. And then when you look at your front foot, that's in line with the long edges of your mat. And watch that your front knee isn't turning in. So if you're not on a mat, when you just look down at your feet, you want them at about 90 degrees to each other, maybe a slightly sharper angle than 90 degrees, but not a wider angle like this. Okay. Bend your front knee until it stacks over your front ankle and reach your arms out to the side, warrior two. Next time you inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, reach through your right fingertips. When you can't reach any further, just drop that hand down onto front leg. Reach your other arm up to the ceiling, triangle pose. Next time you inhale, come back up, warrior two. So rebend your front knee, arms reach out. Exhale, hands down to the floor, downward facing dog. Hold there, or come down and rest, take a child's pose, or go plank, back bend, down dog. And then same thing, second side. So if you're ready to move again, come with me. If you're not, you can just press pause and press play again when you're ready. Downward facing dog. I'm just changing direction so I can still see you with my other leg forwards. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Exhale, step that foot forwards, warrior two. Back toes turn out towards right side of room. Inhale, come up. Yeah, great. So front knee isn't turning in. Bend your front knee until it stacks over your front ankle. If that feels too hard work, then shorten your stride a bit, but keep your front knee about over your ankle. If that feels like too easy, like you're not even doing anything, then try lengthening stride. The next time you inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, reach through your left arm, triangle pose, front arm down, back arm up. If this bothers your top shoulder, another nice option would be to put your hand on your hip. And then remember when we were doing that twist at the beginning where you had your arms wide like this, can you work your shoulders the same way? i.e., think about trying to shrug your shoulders down your back, almost like you're trying to make your neck, the back of your neck longer. On an inhale, come back up, warrior two. Exhale, hands down to the floor, downward facing dog. Hold here, or come down for a breather, or go plank, back bend, down dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back. Keep it lifted, same as we practiced before. Exhale, open up your hip, but don't bend your knee. Just keep reaching the outer edge of your foot up to the ceiling. Take a breath in there. Exhale, step your foot forwards, warrior two, back toes turn out. Inhale, come up. So we're gonna add or build on the last little set that we did. In this round, you might want, I've got my block, but like your baked bean can or NutriBullet cup or whatever you found, if you've got something like that, have it by your front foot. That's where we're gonna need it. Then keep your front knee bent. Unless you're like too much and you need a break, then you can straighten it and come back in. Otherwise, flip your front palm to face up. On an inhale, reach your front arm up and back, so reverse warrior. Yeah, and then peek down at your front foot. You want to still be able to just about see your big toe. If you can't, your front knee might be turning in. So think about sending your front knee more towards the little toe side of foot. Then on an inhale, come back up, warrior two. Exhale, bend your front arm, rest it on your front thigh, reach your other arm up and alongside your ear, side angle pose. And if this feels kind of pinchy in your top shoulder, you can put your top hand on your top hip. Okay, so we're about to stand on one leg, like stuff's about to get wobbly. If you fall, don't worry. I have literally fallen over doing every single one of these postures hundreds of times. So I feel you, do not get put off. Just go nice and slow. Put your top hand on your top hip if it's not there already. Step your back foot a bit closer to your front foot. And then bottom hand, either fingertips to the floor by your front foot or grab your block or other support. And then with your support, step your hand a bit forwards of your front foot. Super slow. Press down your big toe on your front foot. Try and keep that pressing down and start to lean your weight onto your front foot and onto your bottom hand until maybe you come onto tiptoes back foot. Or maybe you hover your back foot off the floor. Or if you feel steady, try and lift that leg higher. Doesn't matter how high it goes. It might stop here. It might stop here. Either way, just lift it up till it stops. And then perhaps, if you're still feeling steady, reach your top arm up to the ceiling. Then we're going to step back to warrior two. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, bend your standing knee. Leave your block if you were using one. Top foot down at the back of your mat. Breath in here. Breath out, hands down, downward facing dog. Hold here. Or I'm going to come down, take a breather. Or go plank, back bend, down dog. So that little maneuver that we just did wasn't a beginner maneuver. So if you're still finding it difficult, like that's because now we're at this point in the class, in the course, and I'm wanting to test you a bit. So if you are falling over, don't worry. Whenever we do this in a group, probably about a quarter of the class fall over, so you are not on your own. Let's go same thing, second side. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back behind you. Keep it straight. As you exhale, open up your hip. So turn your belly button, your top toes to the left. Inhale, lift that leg higher. So remember how this feels. Exhale, step your foot forwards. Warrior two. Last time, warrior two. Back toes turn out. Inhale, come up. Okay, perfect. Slow, steady breaths. So you remember what we were just doing in downward dog, where you were opening up a hip and lifting your leg high? That's what your top leg does in half moon pose. Turn your front palm to face the ceiling. Inhale, reach front arm up and back, reverse warrior. Yeah, see if you can feel much more weight on the big toe side of your front foot. If you feel that, that's a clue, front knee's leaning in. So press down little toe and keep that front knee bent. Inhale, come back up, warrior two. Exhale, rest front arm on front thigh, reach other arm up and alongside your ear. Remember, your other option here is to put your top hand on your top hip if you prefer. Then let's try and do this in time of your breathing. If you get lost with the breath, don't worry. On an inhale, put your top hand on your top hip if it wasn't already. Exhale, shorten your stride. Inhale, bottom hand down to floor or support and step it forwards. Exhale, shift your weight forwards onto your front foot until back leg can lift a bit. You might just be hovering it. Keep breathing. You might be lifting that leg high. Either way, think about opening up your hips. So turn your belly and your top toes to the right side of the room, like you're trying to stack your right hip on top of your left. You can keep your top hand on your top hip, or you can choose to reach it up to the ceiling. If you're like, no, thanks, keep it where it was. Take an inhale, exhale, warrior two, bend standing knee, top foot down at the back of your mat. Inhale, reach your arms out. Exhale, hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Hold here, or come down, take a breather, or go plank, back bend, down dog, your choice. And if you're like, it looks easy when she does it, why doesn't it feel easy when I do it? Remember that, like, this is my full-time job. So the reason like I can do this stuff and still talk is just because I've done it thousands of times before. When you have done it as many times as I have, it will probably feel much easier. That's not to say there isn't plenty of stuff that I still find difficult too. That's just not what we're doing today, luckily for me. Okay. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, step that foot forwards between your hands, warrior one. So remember in warrior one, your back toes, you might want your stride a little bit shorter. Back toes turn out just about maybe 45, about that degrees. So your heel comes down to the floor. Keep your front knee bent. On an inhale, reach your arms forwards and up. So look down at your feet for me. If it looks like they're like one behind each other, almost like you were standing on a tightrope, instead of having feet like that, okay, maybe step your back foot a bit wider. So when you look down at your legs, it looks like they're on train tracks that are about the width of your hips. If having your back heel down like this is uncomfortable for like your heel, your knee, your lower back, then your other option is just to pick that back heel up so that you're in a lunge. Okay, take a breath in where you are. As you breathe out, bring your arms down by your side and turn your palms to face forwards. Inhale, shrug your shoulders down your back, so chest lifts up, keep that feeling. Exhale, just hinge forwards from your hips. Inhale, pivot up onto the tiptoes of your back foot, but don't just lift your heel. Actually spin your foot a bit so your toes end up pointing to the front of the room. As you exhale, lean your weight way forwards over front leg and see if you can lift your back leg. If the answer was like, hell no, then try just hopping your back foot in a bit and then slowly lift. But don't drop your chest and let your shoulders round in an effort to get your leg higher. I'd rather your leg was a bit lower and you were broadening across your chest. So we're going to end up at the front of your mat, standing on your right leg. If you need to bring your top foot down, that's fine. If you don't, then nice and slow, start to look to the front of your room. Bring yourself upright, bring your top knee into your chest and bring your hands in prayer. If you're like, oops, I fell over, don't worry. Come and stand now on your right leg with your left leg lifted. I also fell over a bit when we were just doing that, but I got my radiator handy, so I just put my hand on it and it saved me. Okay, take a breath in. As you breathe out, drop your top knee back in line with your standing knee. Reach down and grab your foot with your left hand. If you're feeling wobbly, put your hand like on a wall or on a piece of handy furniture. Otherwise, reach your other arm diagonally forwards and up. So dancer pose. Take an inhale here. Exhale, kick your top leg up and back behind you. Stay here, or maybe one more time. Breath up into your chest. Breath out, kick top leg up and back. One more inhale. Exhale, both feet down. So you're just standing at the front of your mat. Perfect. Pause there. Take a slow breath in. Remember how we were doing at the beginning. And slow breath out. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, so we're just going to do that same little sequence on the second side, and then we're coming down closer to the floor again. Inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, step your foot forwards, warrior one. So back toes turn out a little bit. Inhale, come up, reach your arms to the ceiling. So if this is uncomfortable on your back leg, a couple of things you can do is try stepping your feet wider, try shortening your stride a little bit, maybe try adjusting the angle of your back foot. Take an inhale where you are. Exhale, arms down by your side, turn your palms to face forwards. Inhale, shrug your shoulders down your back. Exhale, lean forwards over your front leg, but keep your chest lifting. Inhale, pivot up onto the tiptoes of your back foot. Yes, exhale, keep on leaning forwards until back leg can lift. See if you can balance here for maybe a breath or two. And then super slow, bring your palms together, your thumbs to your chest. Start to look forwards. Either just stand at the front of your mat and pick your leg up, or without bringing your right foot down, bring your right knee into your chest. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, drop your top knee back in line with your standing knee. Reach down and grab your foot. So when you grab your foot, it might make your knee splay out to the side. That's okay, but once you've got your foot, then drop it back down in line with your hip again. Other hand can either be like on a wall or some furniture, or reach your arm forwards and up. Take a breath in. Exhale, kick top leg up and back. Inhale here. Exhale, hold, or do the same thing again. One more breath in. Breath out, release. Both feet down. Inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, fold down towards your legs. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath in there. Exhale, drop your knees down to the floor. Either rest here in hands and knees, or sit your bum back towards your heels, child's pose. So lots of what we've done there, in particular, the way we linked some of those postures together, that wasn't like, I wouldn't do that with a group of total beginners, because you are not a complete beginner anymore. Like, this is your 6th yoga lesson, at least, if you've got this far in the course. So we are starting to like add things in and sequence the postures together in a way that's a little bit more challenging. Okay, shift up to hands and knees. And step your left foot forwards to the outside of your hand. So your foot lands by your little finger. And then see if there's any space in your body to wiggle your back knee a bit further back. If you're like, no, it's already at its max, then you can keep it where it is. Toes can be tucked under. I prefer foot flat, but that doesn't mean you need to. And then actively press your back foot down into the floor. Not so much that your knee lifts up, but just press it down a bit. Keep your right hand on the floor. Inhale, sweep your left arm forwards, then up to the ceiling, and then all the way back behind you, like you're trying to point in the direction your back toes are pointing. Okay. With your bottom arm, don't sink down into that shoulder. Push the floor away and think about broadening across your chest. Then either stay here, or last option, bend your back knee and catch hold of your foot. If you're like, my arms aren't long enough, damn it, keep your back foot on the floor, press it down, but still think about broadening across chest. Take an inhale, exhale, hands down, step back, hands and knees, or downward facing dog, your choice. And then from whichever position you chose to do, step your right foot forwards to the outside of your hands. Back knee down if it's not already. Lengthen your stride a bit if that feels okay. Press your back foot down. Left hand stays where it is. Inhale, sweep your right arm forwards, up, and then all the way back. Yep. Don't drop into that bottom arm and let your shoulders hunch up. Push the floor away with bottom arm and shrug your shoulders away from your ears. Then either keep pressing your back foot down. So that's going to be tending to switch on the muscles in the front of your thigh. That's what's helping to push your back foot down. So if you're doing this option, this is strengthening for your leg. Or you can bend your back knee and catch hold of your foot. If you're doing this option, this is more of a stretch for your leg. So they're both good. They're just slightly different. Take a breath in. Exhale, release. Step back, hands and knees. And then I'm going to spin round. So I've got my face in my pot plant. And then lower down onto the floor. Reach your arms back alongside your body so that your palms are facing the floor. So palms rest on your mat. When you're ready, locust pose. Lift your hands, lift your chest, lift your thighs. Let's hold for a couple of breaths this time. So squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other and try and slide them down your back. And then see if you can lift your legs any higher. See if you might feel like bum, perhaps back of thigh switch on when you do that. Take a breath in. Exhale, lower down and rest. So you might want to turn your head to one side. You might want to rest your forehead on your hands. And take a couple of deep breaths down into your belly. So you're going to get the chance to do 2 more back bends, which will build on locust pose. If at any point you're like, no, I'm done, you can just come to where you are right now, lying on your front, rest. If you think you've got 1 more in you, reach your arms back alongside you, palms face the floor. When you're ready, lift up locust pose, make sure you keep breathing. And then this time you can stay where you are, or we're going to make the back of your legs work harder. Bend your knees and bring your heels towards your bum. So don't get a hold of your feet with your hands, even if you can reach them. Keep trying to lift your thighs away from the floor as you lift your chest. Take a breath in. Exhale, release. And if that was super strong in the back of your legs, don't worry, it was for me too. And if you're done, you can stay where you are. If you're not, I got 1 more for you. Reach your arms alongside you. Palms face the floor. Inhale, lift up locust pose. Hold there, keep breathing. Either just keep doing that, or bend your knees, bring your heels towards your bum. Keep doing that, or reach back with your hands and grab your feet. If you can't reach your feet, then you're staying in the version we were doing before. If you can reach your feet, now kick your legs up and back. Even if you can reach your feet, if you do this and you're like, actually, this doesn't feel very nice in my back, then let go of your feet again. Take a breath in. Exhale, release, lower down and rest. Okay. And then when you're ready, roll over onto your back. And this is the point where you will want your strap or your belt or your dressing gown belt, whatever it was you found. So knees bent, feet flat on the floor, back where we started. Then bring your right knee into your chest. Hook your strap around the ball of your foot. So that's the widest part, just below your toes. And send your foot up towards the ceiling. So your leg doesn't have to be completely straight. It's going to take less effort in your arms if your foot is about over your hip. So if you can straighten your leg, but it takes your leg way away from your face like this, I'd maybe bend your knee a bit and use the extra slack that that bend in your knee creates to allow you to bring your leg closer in. So you're looking for a position where you feel a bit of a stretch down the back of your thigh, whether you feel that with leg completely straight or bent, with like leg touching your face or almost all the way back down to the floor, like all of those are fine. It just means that like we've all got different legs. So think about pressing up through your heel and maybe drawing your toes slightly back towards your face. And then you might need to let a bit more slack go on the strap to do this. Straighten your other leg along the floor. And think about actively trying to press your bottom leg down towards the floor. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, bend your top knee and hug your knee into your chest. Put your strap to one side. Keep your left hand on your knee, right arm either out wide if you've got space, if not by your side. Take a breath in. Exhale, take your knee across your body into a twist. Take a breath in where you are. As you breathe out, come back up. Knees bent, feet flat. Bring your left knee into your chest. Grab your strap again. Pass your strap around the widest part of your foot, so just below your toes, and then send your leg up. So I prefer to have my leg a bit bent here and bring it closer in. So your leg isn't going to be in the exact same place as mine, but that doesn't mean that either of ours is right or wrong. It just means we've got different legs. So just find a position somewhere in space where you feel a stretch in the back of that leg. And then remember how we were breathing slow and steady at the beginning. See if you can start doing that again now. Keep breathing slowly and steadily, but straighten your other leg along the floor. You might need to bend your top knee a bit to do that. You might need to let a bit more of the strap slide through your hand. Take an inhale. As you exhale, bend your top knee into your chest. Strap, you can ditch it. Right hand on your knee, take a breath in. Exhale, take your knee across into a twist. Take an inhale where you are. As you exhale, come back up. Hug both your knees into your chest and give yourself a squeeze. So we're going to be still for a couple of minutes. If you think you might need to put on a pair of socks or like a jumper or grab a blanket or anything, if it's cool where you are, make sure that you're warm enough. And once you've got everything you need, bring your feet down onto the floor again. So if it's comfortable for you to lie with your legs out straight and you just let your feet fall out to the side, then that's kind of a nice option. For some people, that feels like it pulls a bit in their lower back. If you feel that, you might want to have your knees bent up, feet a bit wider than hip width, and let your knees knock in together. And then for your arms, you might like hands on belly. You might like arms by your side. You might like them out wide at shoulder height if you've got enough space. Then take a long breath in. And try and make your exhale even longer. And then after that breath is done, just let your breath settle back into its natural rhythm. If it feels okay for you to close your eyes and you haven't already, then go for it. If that makes you feel like weird or anxious or awkward, then keep your eyes open, but maybe just gaze at one point rather than looking all around the room. And then after all that moving around, just take a moment to feel your body simply lying on the floor. So feel which parts of your feet touch the floor. And consider whether your feet feel like they're symmetrically placed. Or perhaps like one turns out a little bit more than the other. And then feel where your bum rests on the floor, back of your pelvis. Scan your attention up your back. You might find there are some parts of your back that touch the floor and some parts that don't. Without trying to do anything with it, notice that you can feel your right hand. And your left hand. Feel each of your elbows. Each of your shoulders. Feel where the back of your head rests on the floor. Notice how your neck and shoulders feel as you next inhale. And try and relax them as you exhale. Notice if you can feel yourself breathing. And then next time you inhale, breathe more up into your chest. And breath out. Again, inhale up towards the top of your lungs. And lengthen your exhale. You can just stay here and do that a couple more times, or next time you inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, stretch them overhead behind you. If your knees are bent, maybe straighten your legs. Take a breath in there, full body stretch. So reach through your fingers, reach through your toes. Then as you breathe out, bend your knees, walk your feet in, arms back down by your sides, and hug your knees into your chest. Just rock a little side to side and feel your lower back release down into the floor. Then when you're ready, roll all the way to one side and come up to sit. And see if you can find a sitting position where you can sit up reasonably straight. So you might sit on your heels, you might sit cross-legged. And let's finish palms together, thumbs to chest. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, drop your chin. Thank you so much.